Ever since this show began 15 years ago, I've been on a mission to democratize investing, to bring new people into the stock market fold, to empower them. I bring that up because, you know what? Sunday is International Women's Day, and women tend to be underrepresented in finance, and it's unfair. It doesn't have to be that way. This morning, I got to ring the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange with Stacey Cunningham. She's the first female president in the history of the New York Stock Exchange. She gave us a great history when we were down there. And when it comes to breaking through the glass ceiling, nobody does it like my friend, Sallie Krawcheck. She's the legendary former head of Merrill Lynch's wealth management business. These days, Sallie runs a privately held company called Ellevest, which is a digital investment advisor designed for women rather than men. It's a brilliant concept because most things in our society, including financial services, are optimized for men, even though women run the household finances in 60% of the homes. Let's take a closer look with Sallie Krawcheck, the co-founder and CEO of Ellevest, to hear more about her business and her efforts to promote women in finance. Ms. Sallie, welcome back to Mad Money. I know Sallie from real life. And Sallie, first I got to congratulate you. Your business is probably the strongest of anyone in the industry right now. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with your personality and the idea that you stand for something that isn't just the commission.
Yeah, well, we are incredibly mission-driven at Ellevest. The whole concept here is that nothing bad happens when women have more money. And look, we pay so much attention to the gender pay gap, which is egregious, and we need to get rid of it, and it's moving in the right direction slowly. We pay very little attention to the gender wealth gap. Women today have only 32 cents to what a man has in terms of wealth. And in between the pay gap and the wealth gap is that we don't invest as much as men do, that we tend to have more debt than men do. And so Ellevest is really working here for what are the things we can control, helping women invest in order to close that wealth gap.
Can you talk to us about impact investing, something we care about? We call it impact per share. You use similar terms. Women care, well, all people care, but women in particular seem to understand the new world.
Oh, we are hearing from women one after the other after the other. I understand my money is a form of power. I want to understand the impact that my money is having. Even if I don't even know what it is, what bank is it with? Am I happy to be supporting that bank? What company am I investing with? In fact, our private wealth business, Jim, we weren't going to have one. I said, let's focus on digital. Let's focus on young women newer to investing, get them started on the right foot. And then we had some really tremendously successful women come and say, look, I'm tired of supporting companies and institutions that haven't supported me. Right. And I'm tired of having my money managed at a place where I don't see myself reflected or where I wouldn't want my daughter to work. And so we said, okay, let's build out a private wealth business. And part of that are our intentional impact portfolios, which really help women invest, oftentimes in other women and companies that advance women.
Now, I know you're private, but I have sources, and they tell me that business is, look, in a very tough market. Yeah. It's just on fire because you're really the only one that has it. Just tell us how it works. Do you put down what you care about, or are your people just sensitive to certain silos of what's going wrong?
Well, what we can actually do is sit down with each individual client and almost track out a mission statement for what is important to me in my life. All right, then how do we express that while certainly looking to drive market-like returns, not to give up returns? But how do we think about it? And it's not just the first level, oh, I like advancing women. That's great. Right. But also things like gun violence disproportionately affects women. Online privacy issues disproportionately affect women. The climate deteriorating disproportionately affects women. Why? Because if they don't have the resources to leave places that are hard hit. And so we go not one level, but 2 and 3 levels deep, sort of investing 4.0, and really help people express their values into their investment portfolio.
All right, so I bumped into a prominent investment manager, woman, hedge fund manager, who is listening, and I'm saying the similar things that you are. And she said to me, you know what, that doesn't impact the companies at all, so what's the difference? What does it matter? I need you to answer that for me, because I know both you and I think it does matter.
It can affect the companies tremendously and in terms of their performance. First of all, there's all the research that says diverse leadership teams lead to outperformance across a range of metrics. But then we've also seen, Jim, in this Me Too Time's Up moment. And if you're not treating women well within your company, it can have real negative financial results. And, you know, I don't have to go on and on about it, but there's no reason that doing good things for the world, for half of the population, leads to worse financial results. It's just, you can't convince me, and the research doesn't hold that up.
Okay, look, I can't. You've been a great research director. You know so much, and I just need your solid perspective for our viewers at home who are so concerned. Something that actually can physically hurt people, Corona, is affecting this.
Oh.
And I need a person who's level-headed
Right.
to be able to put a little history, a little perspective, so people just don't put their money in a treasury that, a year from now they'll regret.
Right. Well, I understand. And look, I fully understand that it can drive you berserk. I mean, I totally get it. I'm like, oh, let's not look at the screen right now. But look, Jim, for really young people like you and me, right?
Thank you.
Stocks are on sale. They may be on further sale, but for young people like us who are net buyers of stock, this is a yes score. And look, we understand if you had invested on any given day since the 1920s and had stayed in the market for 15 years, regardless of the day, your chances of a positive return were 99%.
Well, there you go.
And so for young folks like us, having this long-term perspective is the key. You should be, I hate to say it, celebrating.
Well, stocks can be historically cheap and get historically cheaper, but don't you want to buy the historically cheaper?
Well, but that's why you want to make investing a habit. It should be a bit out of every paycheck so that you're evening that out over time. That's the way we recommended Ellevest, a bit out of every paycheck.
Your success is not only women's success, it's everybody's success.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank
we
you.
just so appreciate everything.
Happy 15th anniversary.
Oh, thank you, and happy International Women's Day.
Well, and also, it's 15 years since the UNC basketball
That's
team
right, they won that year. They won that year.
9 points behind Duke. With less than 3 minutes, this is one of the great days of my life.
Yes. You remember the where it was?
It was in Chapel Hill.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
okay.
I was there.
Okay. And Sallie Krawcheck, so terrific, co-founder and CEO of Ellevest. Hey, look into this. This is mission-driven. And that's how you have to invest these days. Mad Money's back right now. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.